Hello, social media world. My name is Maldonado from Nielsen, and I am so excited to bring you today's conversation. We have two amazing Nielsen employees, so please help me welcome Avery Driggers and Edson Montenegro. Welcome, friends. We also have a super celebrity guest that is going to be revealed here in a second. Y'all are excited, right?
Very.
Woo. I mean, this is some good stuff. So please, without further ado, help me welcome superstar drag queen of the world, Monét X Change. Woo! I feel like I need that song. You're a champion. Yeah. Thank you so much, Bashel.
Thank you, love. First of all, this space is very beautiful.
I mean, welcome to our Nielsen offices. We're very, very lucky to have offices in almost every single major city. Nielsen is out there looking at the digital ratings, looking at linear TV, mobile ratings to make sure that we can bring you all the important research. And in just a few moments, we're going to walk through some of Monét's top moments in queer media. Very, very excited. But before we get started, across the nation in the US, lawmakers are advancing and passing bills that are taking direct aim at drag queen performers, placing restrictions on the LGBT plus community. It's quite devastating, and now more than ever, we really need to be coming together as a community with advocates to celebrate love and respect. So keep me honest, we have so much amazing research. I want to say it's something like 87% of audiences out there express an interest in watching shows that are outside of their own identity. Right? So it really kind of reinforces this notion that people want to be able to see communities, want to learn about other communities, respect and love them, which is absolutely phenomenal.
So I'm really glad you brought that up because this week we just launched our Push for Change report.
Woo! I mean, no, this is huge. I love this report.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Go check it out. But
I feel like I'm getting smarter being in this room. I'm very excited about this.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
So in the Push for Change report, which examines the LGBTQ plus representation in media and in advertising, so of the pretty limited LGBTQ plus related content available, a whopping 87% of that lives on streaming services. And the people have noticed. So LGBTQ plus audiences, as well as heterosexual audiences, they view the movies and the programs on traditional TV as just much less inclusive than what's available for streaming. So if I was a mover and shaker at a linear TV company watching this, I'd be thinking, there's some content opportunities there.
One of the things we've been doing internally with a lot of our employees, Edson, you were part of this.
Yes, I was.
It's phenomenal. It was asking, when was the first time you felt seen in media, right? And we'll give the answer a little bit later. It's coming later this month. But I think that you had a question for Monét.
I did. So, Monét.
Shoot, tell me what.
Looking back, when was the first time that you felt seen in media, and how did that make you feel?
You know, I think one of the first times that I felt seen in media, unbeknownst to me, was I was about 7 or 8 years old. I was flicking through the TV, and I stumbled upon the RuPaul show on VH1, right? And I remember going on the channel and being so confused as to what I was looking at, but also enamored by her beauty, her stature, because she is 9 feet tall, and just the presence that Ru had on TV. And again, I had no idea what drag was. I was still discovering my own identity, but something about watching RuPaul on TV, like I felt seen, like I felt comfortable, I felt loved through this 6'12" drag queen on television. It was amazing.
And also, so Michelle Visage was in that
Michelle
show.
Visage, yeah.
So.
I don't remember seeing Michelle on it. Maybe that's not shade. That's not shade. But I definitely saw Ru, and I'm sure Michelle was, because she was the co-host on there.
Yes, no, I mean, yeah, she was much loved, Michelle. Yeah, we
love Michelle.
So without further ado, because this is really the part that we're all very excited about, it's just really to talk about the top moments that Monét finds to be very excited in queer media. So Monét, we're going to hand it over to you.
Well, one moment I want to talk about is To Wong Foo. To Wong Foo is a cult film classic And I think what, to me, is so iconic about the movie is that you had three of the biggest actors in the game at the time, Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, and John Leguizamo, portraying drag queens in media, on TV. And a thing that I find that today kind of like, girl, y'all done tricked these people to think that we really do this. They were in drag the entire film. They are washing cars, they are walking children, they are playing basketball in full drag. No drag queen would ever do that, but they did it in the movie, and it was so magical. And the scene where they're making up the room when they first get into the room, and it's kind of like a little nod to Bewitched. They're like throwing the sham, and it's just perfectly fitting on the light. It was so cool, and I love Wong Foo.
And personally, all of John Leguizamo's outfits, like, I wanted.
Yes, I need chi-chi.
Well, that little Latin boy in drag, why are you crying? I mean, anytime my friends see me the slightest bit annoyed or emotional, that is absolutely their go-to line. Phenomenal movie. I love that movie, yes.
Okay, the next moment is a TV show that I learned a lot from, was Queer as Faux. And I know it originated in the UK in '99, but they did the American version in 2000 on Showtime, and I was lucky because my mom had just got Showtime like the year before. So I didn't have to go and sneak it. I mean, you couldn't really find it anywhere else because the internet was just becoming a thing. Oh my God, I'm dating myself. But the only option was to download it on like Napster or something. But anyway.
LimeWire.
LimeWire. Kazaa. Remember Kazaa? Yeah. So I remember watching it in the room, but having the volume on like 1, so no one heard anything. And I was like sneaking, watching Queer as Folk. And I just remember like I discovered so much about like gay men at clubs and like all this stuff. So Queer as Folk was definitely something that I think was a very big moment in queer culture because it learned me a lot about what like a queer like nightlife was.
I watched that twice. I watched it when I was younger, and so many of the references I didn't get because I didn't live in a major city. So when they were showing nightclubs or what the types of gay bars there can be out there, trying to keep things PG-13. But the types of clubs that can be out there, I was in a small town in Indiana. So those didn't exist. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know what this is. And then when I moved to Chicago and I rewatched it again, I was like, oh, okay. I'm getting better queer grades now that I'm watching this because now I know where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do or not do. But the second time watching it with a little bit more experience, I caught a lot more things.
I need to watch it again, I think.
I was about to ask, is it worth the rewatch?
Was it worth the rewatch?
Well, then, I haven't seen it now. I mean, I think you did a little moment with the actor who plays Sunshine.
Oh, yes, Randy Harrison, which still looks like he is 13 years old. It is crazy. That just shows, honestly, sometimes good skin and stuff, it's just genetic. And he's like, I don't wash my face. He's like, I don't moisturize. I do nothing. Just splash some water on my face in the morning. And he looks incredible. But yeah, Randy Harrison is fierce. And he is Sunshine. Justin played on the show. He was really great.
So I would rewatch it for him. Justin is quite a handsome person. Amazing as Sunshine, the character. So yeah, shout out to him.
Okay, the next moment I want to touch on is something that I know, I think I know a little bit about it. The cultural reset that is RuPaul's Drag Race. Like RuPaul's Drag Race has single-handedly made drag a global phenomenon, right? Something that used to be, that was shunned into only nightlife spaces and in the darkness of the night, but now drag is everywhere. Drag is all over the world. Drag is so fierce. It has given us like iconic moments like the Sasha Velour rose petals, the Roxy Andrews wig under wig reveal.
Monét X Change fake split.
The fake split.
I mean, that was
hello.
amazing. That was amazing.
If I'm thinking about Monét X Change, I would talk about her sponge dress though. That's to me, that was.
We actually have sponges if you guys
can. Yeah, the sponges, yes. It's raining sponges. Yeah, it just falls down.
Can you imagine? You guys have it raining sponges in here. But yeah, RuPaul's Drag Race, cultural reset.
Absolutely agree. I mean, like, it's given so many queens visibility, a platform, and just like completely revolutionized the way that queer people are seen on screen and just perform and present too.
Yeah, I love it so much. I'm so grateful for RuPaul.
I remember it when it was on Mondays, and it was Mondays are
Mondays
are a drag. I mean, this is dating me. This was like season 1, season 2. Now being on Fridays, you can go have a kiki, have some drinks, and watch it, which is great.
Yeah. Okay, another moment we should touch on is a show that still today is still so good, Will and Grace. Will and Grace, like, I literally watch old episodes today, and they're still as funny. The jokes are still good, and the writing is still good. And it was the first time that a network like NBC took a chance on having like gay people as like the primary cast members on the show. Like, it was incredible to see Sean Hayes, you know, just really like turning it up and having so many gay center storylines. And I mean, it was just, I love Will and Grace, and it's still so funny.
I remember coming home from college, this was before I was out, and seeing my family laugh in a great, like a warm way. Jack, they found him to be hilarious. I remember them saying it, and it was one of the first indicators that like, it's gonna be okay to come out. Yeah. Like it was that much of a show to me because I saw my family embrace him and love him as a character. And I remember thinking like, okay, there's a little bit more confidence to now like be myself and tell my family. It was great. I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
The power of media and representation.
It really is. Again, this is why representation is important. Because if it did that for you, probably did that for so many people. Like, it brought queer storylines into people's living rooms. Like, they showed queer people loving people, having heartache, having breakups, having family. It was incredible. Lovely.
If you want to know references, though, Will and Grace and RuPaul's Drag Race are amazing at sliding in these historical, you know, LGBT-related references that are great. That's a show when I go back and rewatch it, I catch things I did not get the first time.
Yes, still to this day, I'm like, and, you know, because I know I look like, you know, an older woman. This is just a hard New York 17. I am just learning a lot, you know what I mean? So, yeah, still to this day, I'm learning. Let's talk about another cultural moment. And again, it's something that I know a little bit about, is the amazing podcast, Sibling Rivalry.
Oh, love Sibling Rivalry.
Put it in there. But no, Sibling Rivalry is a podcast with myself and Bob the Drag Queen. And, you know, again, it is two Black queer men talking about love, life, and everything in between. We keep it political. We do fun stuff. Sibling Rivalry is a very near and dear project to me, and I love it so much.
And I will say, it is frequently playing on YouTube and Spotify for me. So yeah, I think just seeing you two like talk and just be so unapologetically yourselves is iconic, dare I say.
Thank you, my love. You're so
and I have adopted Bob's, that is wild. Bob says that is wild a lot. And I'll be at work and I'll go off camera on mute and I'll just say, that is wild. I have like an inner Bob voice now. And then I also have like the Monet, I think you have like some fun isms when you were acting to Bob. It's a phenomenal podcast, absolutely worth.
I agree. Go watch it right now. Thank you. Okay, another moment. And you know, Pose. Pose, the hit FX show Pose, is iconic. It was never before had we seen a show cast and center so many trans storylines and so many trans people and actually hiring trans actors in these roles. Some of them it being their first time ever acting, you know what I mean? So I love Pose. I mean, Billy Porter's on there, MJ Rodriguez, all of these brilliant, it's just such a great show. And from beginning to end, because you know sometimes when a show goes on, by season 3, you're like, girl, Ryan, hang it up. But no, we wanted more and more, so they made the conscious decision to stop it at a good place, and it was Pose's iconic forever.
Completely agree. And honestly, I can watch Dominique Jackson forever.
Girl, breed her!
Right.
Yeah. That scene when they're at the restaurant in Long Island, oh my God. It is so good. It is so good.
It may or may not be bookmarked on YouTube for me, but I won't admit to that.
You like sentences to a shady ex-boyfriend. You're like, and you watch this.
You need to get learned.
I think also the way it's propelled those actors and actresses. I was just walking down New York and I saw several of the cast members like for a makeup line. And I'm like, great, in addition to having this representation in media, they're also being able to move their career to other spaces, which has been fun. And there's also been Ru Girls on the show. So it's phenomenal, yeah.
So, and also even like people who are from the ballroom scene, like, you know, like Deshawn, Leomi Maldonado, like bringing them in to be characters on the show. Like, come on, like that's
what was the last name?
Leomi Maldonado.
Oh, I'm maybe a lost long.
Cousin.
Yeah, it was like a lost long sibling. Here we go. I need to be collecting some coins.
And speaking of, this leads me to another cultural moment, reset to me, is Paris is Burning. Paris is Burning. If you are queer, honestly, or an ally, anything, you have not seen Paris is Burning, you have to. Paris is Burning introduced the world into the ballroom scene and what that looks like and how queer youth, queer Black and brown youth specifically in New York City had made their own community, their own tribe, and now it's spread globally. Like a few years ago, Bob and I went to the Latex Ball here in New York, and to see how, like, I mean, people from houses from Japan, from Australia, people from all over the world that come into these balls, and it has just fostered community, but also just given us like a fierce language and a lexicon, right? Like so many things we use today, shade, fierce, you know, all those things come from Paris is Burning and the ballroom community, and it is just so fierce. I love that movie so much.
And I think also just like gives a snapshot into like the history of queer culture, you know, and how a lot of this was like you said, a lot of like the slang, the lingo was started by like Black and brown queer folks in the ballroom scene. And I love this documentary. It is so amazing. And I wonder if you can do this in post, but I just want to look at the camera real quick. Overgrown orangutan.
Populous. You own everything. All of it. All of it. All of it. All of it. Let's see, another cultural moment, favorite moment of mine is, and she's one of my favorite comedians, Ellen DeGeneres. I love Ellen DeGeneres, and I think people forget, like, Ellen DeGeneres was on some, like, back in '97, she came out on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and then she took it to the next level on her own show, The Ellen Show, when she came out on her show for the world to see again, and Oprah played her therapist on the show, and it, like, ruined her career. She lost so much work. She was not working for years because she came out. She had the nerve, the audacity to tell people that she was queer, you know what I mean? So I think Ellen coming out was a big moment for a lot of people to realize, and she made a lot of people feel safe, and she made it okay for a lot of people. And her special, her comedy special, The Beginning, which is on HBO, if anyone wants to watch it. To me, it's my favorite comedy special I've ever seen. And at the end, she does this Q&A where she's talking back to the audience, and this so many people are giving stories of how, like, thank you, Ellen, because you had the nerve to come out on your television show to Oprah Winfrey. It gave me the power to do it, and it's just so beautiful. I love Ellen DeGeneres, and I love her coming out because it really was a moment.
I 1000% remember having that Time magazine cover, like, on our coffee table. Yep, I'm gay. I mean,
yes.
I don't know if I could read yet, but I'm pretty sure I could because I remember.
And like at a time when she was like at the top of her career, to do this thing that got her, lost her so much work. She did this thing knowing that I will probably never work again. I don't know if I'll ever get a job anywhere ever again, but I have to do this because it's going to save my life. And to me, that is a moment that we cannot forget. Another moment is a movie that I loved. I remember I watched this movie on 125th at the Magic Johnson Theater with Bob the Drag Queen, and it's Moonlight. And Moonlight is such a great film, and to see this story of Black love, Black gay love on television, and then when they won the Oscar, it is the first. Well, yeah. It was, that is also like the moment within the moment, you know what I mean? It was like the first LGBT movie to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards, and they announced La La Land, but then it was like a whole kerfuffle on stage. But I mean, Moonlight is a moment that we cannot forget in queer culture, queer history.
I think having that moment of the first queer movie to win Best Picture, and also to have it be a story of the Black community, is just phenomenal. I mean, because I think most people, there's a very common trivia miss. Most people think it's Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, I know.
Most people think, oh, the number that was another good movie, but to have Moonlight be up there, and Janelle Monáe also.
So good.
All of the actors and actresses in there are so amazing, and it's such a powerful.
Is fine as
powerful.
Excuse me, fine behind. Sorry. And you know, and because Brokeback Mountain was a good film, you know, it was not nominated for Best Picture. Only Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal, they were nominated for actors, but it did not get the Best Picture nomination. When it was so good, people still reference that movie all the time, you know. And the final woman I want to talk about is one of my favorite artists, Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean, again, like Ellen, having, coming out, okay, because he's from the hip hop space, right? So you do not expect a hip hop artist to come out here and like do what he did, but he had that open letter to Tumblr where he like laid his feelings out and his emotions out to his fans, coming out to his fans. And then he gave us Channel Orange like 2 months later where he's talking about like queer love and like longing in that space for a hip hop album. And then Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, all these artists came out supporting him, saying we support, like that was a moment in Black queer musical history that for a lot of people, again, made them feel safe, made them feel okay. Well, if like Snoop Dogg is getting behind this gay hip hop artist, what's wrong with me? Why can't I? So I love Frank Ocean's coming out was a moment that we can never forget.
Would you like to say something, Frank, into the camera?
Frank, I'm so grateful for you. And I think that we should do a collab and we'll make sweet music together.
Maybe an Orange Channel too.
We're gonna do Purple Channel. Purple Channel, yeah, Purple Channel, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. That was an amazing, 10 amazing media moments. I feel like I need to go back and watch some of these shows and movies over again. I probably will continue to learn some pieces. I think the other question we asked some of our employees, Edson, remind me, there was a second question.
So the second question is, what do you hope for the future of LGBTQ plus media, Monet?
I mean, yes, there is a lot of representation, but there can always be more. I think that we are on a path of again, having shows like Pose and having shows like The L Word and having shows like Queer as Folk, but there can always be more. I mean, queer people make up a huge part of the population, so why not have media reflect that? And I think that there is no reason why we can't see queer people winning. I mean, the queer people, drag queens especially. Like, drag queens should be at the Grammys. Drag queens should be at the Oscars. Like, I think that the more and more representation that we can have will be better for all of us at large.
And I would say more than just we brought them as a spectacle to bring on stage. Like, let's showcase the artistry. Let's allow them. Let's see more nominations, right? And
yeah, absolutely. And even though, and something that I would like to see also is at these award shows, I know we have like best female artist, best male artist. I think that there needs to be a gender neutral category for these artists who don't find themselves in any of those binaries, right? So I think that, and we can do that. There are so many artists, so many people are putting music out. Why can we not have a gender neutral category so people who don't feel represented in the too feel that they have a space?
So actually, on that point, in our recent Push for Change report, we did talk a bit about representation and how there's a real desire for the LGBTQ representation to not just be there, but to be varied and authentic representation. In fact, 50% of the LGBTQ people we surveyed said that avoiding stereotyping in media, which is still pretty pervasive in 2023, but avoiding that is a real way to help improve true inclusivity in programming and in ads. And also 40% of heterosexual audiences say they'd also like to see less stereotypical representation of the queer community.
And stop using us as trauma porn all the time, you know what I mean? Like, there's a way to not, you don't, yes, we do have traumatic experiences, but you don't always have to show our trauma. Show us being happy. Baby, show me going to the bodega and getting a Big Mac and cheese, because I do that, you know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be something so overtly traumatic.
I think Schitt's Creek did a really good job of that. It was
Great.
like, right? It wasn't meant to be the struggle of there was a little bit of a coming out story, but it wasn't the main storyline.
Wasn't, yeah.
It was great to see a gay love story that was just simply, no, they're just in love.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. That's all you need to know, right? End of list. Some other research that was...
Ew, David.
Oh, ew, David. I mean, ew, David is great. I mean, that's another one of those. There's wild, of course, as we mentioned, and then ew, all the time. If I am muted, I might be saying ew. But not all the time. Now my coworkers are like, great, he's saying ew and wild every time he's...
You're saying wild. They're like, wow, Jay, that escalated very quickly. I just said I wanted coffee.
Yeah. There is another piece of research that we were, when we were thinking about our research recently, one that really kind of stood out to me. Oh, thanks, they have it on the TV. Thanks, Nielsen. Was that 42% of US adults say that they're more likely to buy from a brand when they feel represented, which is amazing. So if you're out there, you're a creator or you're a brand that's looking to, maybe connect with the LGBT audience, representation matters. And I think the other piece of it is that Americans were 2 times more likely to align with a brand that kind of demonstrates the core values and really embraces the LGBT community, which is also phenomenal. The research that we keep referencing, the Seen on Screen report, which dives into a lot of different minorities and their representation, phenomenal research, and then specifically our LGBTQ plus report, the Push for Change. We'll drop it again in the comment section and in the social copy. Phenomenal reports, really great for advertisers, really great for content creators out there, and just simply for amazing research. And we have amazing research team and content strategists like Avery that put this together with such love and care. So shout out to all of the team members in Nielsen who really put this together to help bring representation to the world. Y'all, we covered a lot today. This was phenomenal.
Fun. I think we should do this quarterly.
Weekly. We're going to be here weekly. It's a new podcast. We're launching it right now. No, really want to thank panel members for joining. Monét, thank you so much. Woo!
Thank y'all for having me again. This has been an absolute pleasure, and anytime I get to talk about gay stuff, I'm so excited. I'll gladly do it anytime.
Where can people find you if they want to continue with the Monét fantasy journey?
You know, you can find me all across social media at Monét X Change. It's right here. My M-O-N-E-T, the letter X, the word change, across all social media, and yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. Again, really appreciate you. Thank you from everyone who's watching at home. We really hope you have a very amazing Pride and amazing year. Thank you.